Hi guys, it's me Jess, and today I'm actually gonna show you how I use Photoshop and Illustrator interchangeably to do my die cut outlines for stickers. And I don't think it's a secret, there's not much secret to it, so I don't really care. But anyway, I am gonna use a very special someone's artwork today as a feature for the video. So actually, if you don't know, me and a bunch of other artists, we are gonna do a fundraiser for Red Cross to donate to Ukraine. So what they've come up with is so exciting, and they've come up with stickers, some of them are coming up with postcards, and all the artwork is really, really nice. So if you really want to donate to the cause, just keep a lookout. I think Jay will be uploading the link pretty soon for the pre-orders. And okay, so what I am gonna show you today is from Cell. Okay, so as you can see, this is everybody's artwork, but I'm just gonna use Cell's artwork today because I asked her for permission, and I don't think it's really nice to show other people's artwork if I don't ask them for permission, so I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna use Cell's artwork, and you can see it's a pretty little bird here. Okay, so let me do a quick size checking for her since she didn't mention the size that she needed in the file. So let's just see. Okay, 63.5 by 63.5, but I noticed the resolution isn't 300. So usually I'll recommend you guys to put 300 as your resolution, because if you put it any lower, sometimes it can make the file size go wonky on Illustrator or like anywhere else, and it's actually the best resolution for printing clear images in the future when you need to print them. So I'm just gonna convert that to 300. Okay, so okay, as you can see, it might mess with the pixels a bit, but because the artwork is really tiny, you can't really notice it, so it's okay. But if you're printing like larger artworks, like maybe postcards or A3 prints or A2 prints, then you need to make sure that they are actually drawn with 300 dpi from the start to minimize any pixel and resolution loss. Okay, so let's go on to the next step, which is to actually do the borders and stuff for the thing. And okay, so what we're gonna do next is to actually increase the canvas size. So if you go over here, image, and then you go to canvas size, we can actually expand it. So usually the bleed that I tell you guys about is about 3 mm on each side. So if you were to plus it all together, that means up down, the width left right, it's 3 plus 3, so it's 6, and the height is 6. But today we're not going to do that because we need a bigger space to make a nicer looking border for Cell. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put like maybe 15, and I'm gonna press OK. So you can see that the canvas actually expanded, but not the artwork itself. So that's all cool. So the next step that we are gonna do is we are gonna go here to the layer, and we are gonna add a new layer. Don't think you can see it that well from here, so I'm just gonna, alright, so we're gonna do this, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna do this and add a new layer. So this is layer 2 now. I'm gonna drag that down, and then we are gonna press Control left click on the thumbnail of the artwork layer, and you can actually see that it has selected the artwork accordingly because the background is transparent anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So yeah, so it has selected the artwork, and then what we're gonna do next is still on layer 2. We are going to select, modify, and expand. So what this does is to actually expand the selected area by the amount of pixels that you need. So my go-to pixel size expanding thingy is 30. So I'm just gonna do that, 30. And you can actually see that it has expanded 30 pixels. Actually, I don't know how it works, but anyway, it has expanded. And we are gonna do a tiny preview on how it looks like with the white bleed. So I'm just gonna go to Fill. Usually we can just right click, Fill, and I usually fill with white to have a little preview. And doesn't that look nice? Yes? Yeah, so if you're pleased with this, then you can move the white layer and you can fill it with black now. And why is this important? Why does it have to be black? We'll explain it later. So what we're gonna do is we are actually going to save, and then we are going to save it as Seal, which is for silhouette. This is the silhouette layer. So we're going to save this as silhouette, and then we are going to save the other layer as image. The most important thing to take note when you are saving the files is that the silhouette and the image layer must be saved in the same file format. Because if you save it in any other format, it's gonna mess with the placement and the sizing of the stickers later on. So always make sure to save it in the same format. So if I save the silhouette layer as a PDF file, I'll need to save the image layer as a PDF file as well. So for the image layer, we are gonna switch off the silhouette layer and we're gonna do the save as thing again. And make sure that it's the same file format. I'm gonna save it as image. Okay, now that we are done with our part on Photoshop, I'll go over to Illustrator. So now that we're in Illustrator, we are going to bring the files over so that we can do the die cut outline. Okay, so I'm gonna open this template, which is actually my sticker cutting template. I used to have it on my website, but unfortunately, I don't know why, but Squarespace doesn't allow me to put up links to download files off my website. So until I'm done with my new website, you might have to ask me for this file if you need it. So you can always email me. But right now, I'm just gonna open it up. And you can see this is the template. So in the template, you might notice that I've already done 3 layers for you guys. Do not ever touch the layer that is called registration marks, and do not unlock it or move it around, because this is what my cutter uses to cut your stuff. So if you move it around or you mess with it, then my cutter will not cut your stuff and I have to reprint it and I might have to charge it to you again. So don't touch this layer, it's important. You can instead mess with these 2 layers. So usually on the top layer, I'll name it outline, and the bottom layer, I'll usually use it for my image. But it's up to you, as long as you separate the outlines and the images. Because if your images and your outlines are mixed together, sometimes it's really hard to separate them, and it's not ideal for anything. So it's just good to keep them in 2 different layers. Okay? So we're gonna take the image and the silhouette files and we're gonna drag them in. So as you can see, right now it's like that, but actually the image is below, and you can see that it's aligned properly because they're the same file type. So what I'm gonna do is to actually drag the image layer down to the image layer, and for the outline with the silhouette, we are going to create our vector die cut outline now with this black blob of thing. Okay, so we are gonna select the whole outline layer, and what we are gonna do next is to go to image trace right here. Okay, so you see image trace, you can actually press on ignore white, and trace. And then we are going to create the vector by pressing expand. So you see that it's still a black blob. So what I usually do next to ensure that there's no extra bits in between or what is I go to Pathfinder and I press on Unite. Because sometimes it's like when you do the silhouette thing, there might be certain bits in the middle that is just weird. And it might cause problems when cutting, so I press Unite to make sure that everything is a single outline layer. And then I'll press Outline. So it creates a stroke, a vector stroke, an outline, as the name suggests. And if you actually click out of it, you might notice that it's invisible. So it's a bit confusing. But what you actually need to do is to select this, and you just go to stroke over here, and maybe just press a 0.5, and it'll show you the stroked area. So if you notice, there is actually like weird ridges around, and it doesn't look so aesthetic. And if you select on the path, you'll notice the highlight. You can actually see the points. So for die cut or kiss cut stickers, any type of stickers that you need cutting, you just want to make sure that there are not so many points, because it can actually slow down the cutting and it might actually mess up and damage your stickers. Because the cutters, they will cut by points, right? So let's say if you have a point too close to each other, you'll duk duk. And then sometimes, because it's a drag knife cutter, like just imagine a pen knife and you're dragging across it. So if there are 2 points and let's say there's a point that is too jagged, like you'll just like not be very smooth, and it might damage your stickers in the meantime. So that's not what we want to do. So what we're gonna do next is to actually make the paths smoother, the points smoother, and to improve the overall aesthetic of the outline area. So how we're gonna do that is we're gonna go to object over here. We're gonna path, simplify. So it will bring out this window over here. I think I'm on the latest version of Illustrator, so this is how it looks like now. But when I was using the older versions, it's another type of window with more advanced options, something like that. Okay, but if you're on the new Illustrator, it will just be a simple window like that, I guess, to streamline everything. So if you notice, there are still some areas which are not very nice. So you can actually adjust it by moving this around to your heart's content. Okay. So what you want to achieve is to actually have like the most areas of smooth curves like that, so that it doesn't mess with the outline. Okay. Of course, like jagged might look better sometimes, but it will cause problems for you when it comes to cutting stickers. So we do not want that. We want smooth, right? So this is smooth. And if you're happy enough with the outline, you can actually exit by pressing escape. And if you're still not happy with it, like over here, I'm not happy with how this looks. What you can do next is to actually go to your toolbars over here, and you can select the smooth tool, which is like, it looks like a pencil with lines on it. And just make sure that your path is selected, and you can smoothen it out, make sure that it looks nice. Yeah, until it looks nice. Okay, so just gonna make it curvier and nicer. Just drag it along the points and they'll smoothen it out. Okay, so if you're pleased with it, you can press escape again or just go back to the cursor. But if you've noticed just now, after I'm done with the smooth tool, it actually increased the points again. So what you can do after this is to actually simplify the path again. And it will help you to minimize the points. And you can rinse and repeat until like you're okay with the final outcome. So if, let's say I'm pleased with this already, just press escape. And ta-da, we're done with the vector outline with as minimal points as possible. And it's smooth and it looks nice. So, okay, we are not done here. So actually, if you notice, I increased the canvas size of Cell's artwork just now, and if she wants the sticker to be, let's say, 63.5 by 63.5, it's gonna appear bigger and you're not gonna lay out as much stickers as you would want. So what you're gonna do next is you're gonna select the outline layer and see if the path is actually bigger or smaller. So as you can see here, it's 66.46 right now, but she wanted it to be 63.5, so this is actually like 3 mm bigger. So what you can do is just select both of this and minus off 3 mm, so 75.486, and just select the outline layer, and you'll notice that it's now 63 point something, which is around the sizing that Cell would want. So that's all good. So now that you're done with making sure that your sticker is in the correct size, you can start laying it out. So what we're gonna do next is to lay out the stickers, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna select both layers by dragging over them with the cursor. And how are you gonna duplicate the stickers? Are you just gonna Ctrl C, Ctrl V because it's not gonna snap into place, and it's not gonna be very efficient if you keep doing that because you have to, So what we are gonna do is we're gonna select this tool, just press alternate, and then click on your left click, and you'll notice that it copies and pastes, but you can select where you want to drop it. And if you want the selected item to snap into place right beside your sticker, what you're gonna do is to press shift while holding all these buttons together, and it will snap into place, like so. Another important thing to take note of when you are doing die cut or kiss cut stickers is that just make sure that your stickers are a good distance away from each other. Like this is too close, and I know it saves space to put things close together and you might get more stickers out of it, but at the same time, if your stickers are too close to each other, the cutter can actually damage the stickers during cutting. So always make sure that your stickers are at least like a safe distance away from each other to ensure that they do not get damaged in the cutting process. So usually I recommend like this amount of space, like it's safe to me. And then once you have duplicated that in a safe space, what you can do next is to actually press Ctrl D. Magic, right? So what it does is to actually step and repeat. It's a function called step and repeat. So once you press Ctrl D, it repeats the previous selection that you moved in the exact same distance and manner. So if you press Ctrl D again, it does the exact same thing. So what we're gonna do now is to move it downwards, so rinse and repeat. So what you're gonna do is to select everything, alternate, left click, and shift to click it into place, to move it into place. And once you have moved it into place, you can actually press Ctrl D all the way down. Time saver. Yeah, so it's very time saving to do this. And this is how I usually do my die cut outline, the vector path, and how I lay out my stickers. Thank you very much. Bye bye.